agency is creeping on us closer and closer and closer. Yes, the NFL season never stops because we're talking about it nonstop. And welcome into Titans Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Brett Alper. On today's show, we're going to be reacting to two predicted free agent signings, actually multiple free agent signings, for Tennessee from Fox Sports. They made an article ranking the top 100 free agents and predicting where they will go. Let's start off. I will just say that only one Tennessee Titan made the top 100. Out of all the 100 free agents that the Titans have, only one. I will say Draymond Jones made it, but he is not on the team no longer currently because we traded him halfway through the season. So, the Titans, they have the most cap space in the NFL. Going into this season, they have just about over $100 million. $100 million. Over the cap had him at $104.77 million. Spotrac has him at 99, and PFF has him at 104.77, just like over the cap. So we're going to go with these two right over here at $104 million. So you could pretty much go out there and sign any free agent that you want. And we are less than 1 month away, ladies and gentlemen. So we got you covered here because the Titans are going to be making move after move after move after move. And we'll be making videos after videos after videos after videos. So make sure you hit that sub button right now. Hit that bell notification to turn those noties on so you make sure that you have all the Titans coverage up to date all the time. Let's start with the first of 5 predictions from Fox Sports for the Tennessee Titans. And it has them signing the 93rd ranked free agent, the linebacker Quincy Williams, coming over from the New York Jets. And the Jets, I mean, they were considered the laughingstock of the NFL, one of the worst teams in football if it wasn't for the Las Vegas Raiders. But Quincy Williams was kind of their bright spot on their team throughout the last couple of years. Here's what Greg Auman of Fox Sports had to say on Quincy. He averaged 110 tackles a year in his 5 seasons with the Jets, just having finished a 3-year, $18 million contract. Would a change of scenery help him? There are potential matches in the Titans, where former Jets head coach Robert Saleh is now, and then he talks about the Falcons a little bit. Both had him when he was a first-team All-Pro selection in 2023, so it makes sense giving the choice that he could return to one of them. And I will just say, this absolutely screams going to the Titans when you are coached by Robert Saleh, the head coach at that time. And we know that when Saleh was the head coach of the Jets defense was perfect. And he's still under the age of 30. So he has a lot left in him to boost that. Well, you get paid a little bit of money. You go to where you were thriving with the head coach that you were thriving with. It screams that he's going to a Titans. And I would say, obviously, I don't think you're going to get the same amount of money as you did in your first contract, but a 3-year, $16 million deal give you about over $5 million a season for an age where linebacker is getting up there. I would do that perfectly for the Titans. I know the Titans linebacker core of Cody Barton and then Cedric Gray needed some work in 2025. I think you upgrade that with Quincy Williams. You have him on one spot with Cody Barton right next to him. It'd be a perfect duo for the squad. So I'll ask you guys, do you want to sign Williams? Go down in the comments section. Let me know. Give me a Y for yes, or give me an N for no down in the comments. The second one, and this is literally right next to it, the 92nd ranked free agent. The Titans have signing the free agent coming over from the Indianapolis Colts, Nick Cross, and this one I don't know. All right, here's what they had to say. Still only 24 years old, has had a busy past 2 years with the coach, totaling 266 tackles and 4 interceptions. That is a ton of tackles. Indy has bigger free agents to worry about, such as Alec Pierce, but Cross had success with 2 different coordinators and won't break the bank, jarring $6 to $8 million a year. If he doesn't stick in New England or in Indy, he'd be a smart play for the Titans, where Gus Bradley knows him well, and the front office has ample cap space to rebuild their defense with young potential. And I will say, he had a great 2025 season. 120 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and 5 pass breakups. I think he would be perfect for this team. But it just doesn't make much sense to me. Because if you look at the Titans, they also have a ton of safeties. And I talked about this Titans secondary with the safety, and I think that this is the strongest part of their defense because Amani Hooker is solid, Xavier Woods is solid, and if you see that guy over on the right side underneath that strong safety, Kevin Winston Jr., you drafted him, and I think he is going to be an absolute star in this league. Granted, he didn't have the best 2025 season, but he was recovering from a knee injury that he suffered in college. Once he gets going, once he gets 100%, I think he is going to be a star in this league. So I don't know if the Titans should go after Nick Cross. Now, if you have the money and you want to pay him $7 million, sure, you can bring him in for maybe a 1 or 2 year deal, but I think that he is the future of the safety room in Tennessee. Not Nick Cross, so be it. We're going to get to some of the more free agent predictions going into 2026. But first, I got to tell you about our sponsor of today's show, and that is Prize Picks. Shoot your shot on Prize Picks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. Prize Picks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. Prize Picks makes every dunk, every dime, every board that much more exciting. So don't miss the chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less than 2 to 6 player stat projections. And if your picks are right, you can cash in. Prize Picks also has early payouts. If your player gets off to a hot start, well, you can cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. And you know, football season might be over, but that doesn't matter. The fun doesn't stop with Prize Picks. You know what I did on Sunday? I got into motorsports because Daytona, that started up the season. I'm excited for that. Basketball, baseball's right around the corner, and you also have esports too. So, but you got to download the app and to get $50 instantly in lineups after you use the code CLNS to get $50 after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right, so Fox Sports keeps predicting that the Titans are going with the top end of free agency and just signing a lot of players. And they have the Titans re-signing Okonkwo. And I just think that whoever wrote this article does not pay attention. Because honestly, Okonkwo's gone, guys. Okonkwo is extremely gone. And I also just got the notification that Robert Woods is announcing his retirement. Shout out to him. But Okonkwo's gone, and he knows he's gone, and the Titans know he's gone. He ain't re-signing. When you put out a tweet calling out the city of Tennessee or state of Tennessee, city of Nashville, and saying you are thankful for everything, are you re-signing with the team after saying, yeah, thanks Tennessee for allowing me to live out my childhood dream, playing in the NFL, representing the Titans the last 4 years has been an unbelievable privilege that I will never take for granted. Thank you, Lord, for keeping me safe and allowing me to play every game these past 4 years. Love you, Nashville. Does that sound like a guy that's staying? Does that sound like a guy that's re-signing? Hell no. And the Titans, they have their new tight end one. And you saw him throughout multiple times in 2025. Him starting to get more reps and more and more. Gunnar Helm is the future. And I think Gunnar Helm has also that blocking ability, and Gunnar Helm also has that pass-catching ability. And that's the reason why they are moving on. Now, do you need a tight end too? 100%. But Okonkwo's gone, guys. Come on. Come on, Fox Sports. You got to be better than that. All right, for the fourth prediction. Now we're getting all the way to the 53rd ranked free agent. And I really hope I say this name right. Kwity Paye. Another free agent coming out of Indianapolis. Here's what they had to say about him. He had only 4 sacks in a disappointing 2025 season after only 16.5 between 23 and 24. A former first-round pick who managed to play a career high in snaps while matching his career lows in sacks and tackles for loss. We have a market based on the production he showed in previous seasons. Perhaps Spotrac has him at a generously $17.8 million a year, but he's not expected back with the Colts. There's a chance he could reunite with Indy defensive coordinator Gus Bradley with the Titans. And I'll just say this because I'll be very, very quick, because if you read that, well, he had a disappointing 2025 season. When you have the cap space, you can go out and sign somebody that is a lot better than Kwity Paye. If he has disappointing 2025, what makes you think that he's going to have a better 2026? I would go out and give some guy that you are guaranteed to get some production and possibly not have to pay him $17.8 million. Odafe Oweh, who was incredible with the Chargers over the last season. Jaelan Phillips, who was great with the Eagles. If you want to go out and pay Trey Hendrickson $17 million, where you're going to get more production out of him than you're going to get with Kwity Paye. So that's my options here. My number one option is going after Oweh. Shout out his brother, who plays basketball for my college. But he would probably only cost about $12 million, maybe $11 million. You get about an 8.5 sack production. Maybe he has a breakout season and goes for 10. But I'm not giving some dude that can't have a disappointing and a career low in sacks and tackles for loss for $18 million. Absolutely not. No chance in hell. And the last prediction, the Titans, which I actually like this one, and it's number 50th. Yeah, Fox Sports does not have the Titans signing anybody in the top 50, which I also think is very dumb because the Titans could overpay for someone such like an Alec Pierce. It is what it is. But they have him signing the free agent that's coming over. That would come over from the Giants, Wan'Dale Robinson. And here's what Fox Sports had to say. Robinson, only 25 as a volume wide receiver. Only 5 receivers in the league have more targets in the last 2 seasons than his 280. While the other 5 average 18 touchdown catches in that span, Robinson just has 7. He's coming off a 1,000-yard season with 90 catches, and only 42% of those resulted in a first down. There are lofty projections out there for Robinson. Spotrac has him getting $15 million, but that's a lot for someone who has 9 career touchdowns on almost 400 targets. And this was a career year for Wan'Dale Robinson. Granted, everybody on the Giants got hurt, including their star wide receiver Malik Neighbors, and Darius Slayton couldn't catch a ball if I was 5 feet away from him. But he's gotten better every single year. You could see in 2022 in his rookie year, 23 receptions, and then to 60, and then to 93, and then to 92. But 93 catches for 700 yards is crazy. Now he finally got over 1,000 yards with 4 touchdowns. It makes sense. I mean, you're reuniting with Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll had him thriving in that offense with the Giants, and the Giants were struggling with quarterbacks. They were dealing with Daniel Jones one year. Then you go out and you get Russell Wilson, and well, Jackson Dart took over, and that's when Wan'Dale finally had his breakout season with the quarterback. But the Titans, they need a wide receiver. They need one. Because if you look at this wide receiver depth chart, it's terrible. Calvin Ridley's most likely not going to be on this team, but he was placed in IR. Van Jefferson is not returning. So right now you have Elike Manor, Chimere DK, and Bryce Oliver. You need to upgrade this wide receiver room and get Cam Ward weapons. And I'll say, I like Wan'Dale signing with the Titans, but he is not your wide receiver 1. He is a perfect slot wide receiver that is going to get open, be your 6 to 7 yards per catch. He'd be perfect safety valve for Cam Ward, but he's not your number 1. You need a deep threat. You need someone that's going to go out there and catch passes that is going to be 100 receptions for 1,400 yards. Wan'Dale Robinson ain't that guy. You need a guy like Alec Pierce. You need a guy, or just examples, Justin Jefferson, a Jamar Chase type guy. Wan'Dale's not that. And for $15 million, are you going to be willing to pay that? I'd give him about 12. And if he wants to do that, sign him on the paper because he's going right in that slot, and you're putting Chimere DK on the opposite side, and then hopefully Elike Manor can get better, and you find a deep threat. Maybe Alec Pierce, too. I would like Alec Pierce in Tennessee. Would you sign Wan'Dale for $15 million? I'm not. You let me know down in the comments section. Give me an S for sign or give me a P for pass. I think he'd be a perfect weapon for Cam Ward, but not your number 1 option. Not your number 1 option. Less than 20 days away from free agency, guys. And we have you covered here on the channel nonstop. There are going to be videos after videos because when you are the number 1 team in free agency that has the number 1 amount of cap space, you are going to make moves. And if you don't, well, then we're going to get a video out ripping Mike Bergonzi, but I highly doubt it. A lot of moves being made for Tennessee, and we got you covered here on the channel, so make sure you hit that sub button, and as always, tighten up.